Hello and welcome back to another video from Napoleonic PC Wargamers, and we're looking at the John Tiller Napoleonic Series. Today we're going to be looking at command control and how to use it, what it can and can't do for you, and the intricacies involved of moving your units and your subordinates en masse rather than having to click through each individual unit and issue orders. We can actually bring it up to a command level. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new scenario. And in the AI selection dialog box, I'm going to make sure whichever side I want to actually take command control of, we're going to select command control. Will be the French, and we'll give the Allies automatic fog of war. Not too bothered about the slider and the rules in this case. I'm going to go ahead and press OK. Now the first box we're going to get, or the next box, is the leader selection dialog box. As you can see, there's a lot of leaders here, and this represents the order of battle used for this scenario. So there are some people that are on the field, some people that are not on the field. The ones that are in bold and highlighted, such as Napoleon and Ney, they are on the field, and the ones that are greyed out, like Grouchy, obviously it's Waterloo, so he wasn't there, we can't actually select those. Now, we don't have to take control of the whole army or corps or whatever is actually on the scenario. We can, if we wanted to, go down and choose to take either division or brigade level, or if we wanted to take corps level, and we can just select Dialog in this case. If we did want to take the whole or control of the whole army, it might be tempting just to say, right, we're going to play as Napoleon, press OK, and then give orders to everybody as Napoleon. The trouble with that is that it will only allow us to issue orders as Napoleon to a corps level. So once we break it down into division or brigade level, we couldn't do that. We can only do it to sort of the large formations. We don't have to choose everybody on the map, as I said. We can pick and choose individuals. So let's say we wanted to be Napoleon. So I've got Napoleon selected. If I hold down the control key, when I get to another commander down here somewhere, and I want to take Dialog, I can also take Dialog, Charlet, Bourgeois, and so on and so on. If I wanted to unselect them, just hold control down again and unselect them. I find the easiest way, if I wanted to take control and be able to issue orders to brigade level, is to select Napoleon, go all the way down to the bottom of the page, press shift and press on the last unit or commander that's there, in this case Colonel Pagan, and then we have selected, let go shift, and we've selected everybody that's there. Now we can issue brigade level or individual unit level commands as well. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and press OK. So it's our turn first. Now, the first box we're going to get when we open it up is this order dialog box, and it's going to go through the order of command. So every time I press OK, because I've got control of everybody on the field, every time I press OK, it's going to go down to the next subordinate down in the chain of command, in the hierarchy. A couple of little things that we can look at in this box then. We can all see the location, the hex number, and the hex number is always down the bottom right of the page, and we can see where that unit commander is. The size refers to the manpower that is under that leader's control, in this case 1,200 men under Napoleon, and the health refers to the fighting strength, for want of a better word, of the units under his command. That's calculated based upon things like morale and fatigue, and if somebody's or a unit's got low or hardly any morale or fatigue, high morale but low fatigue, that will be counted as a full strength fighting unit. As we get up into medium fatigue, it goes to half strength, and then once they're pretty much broken, obviously they're not going to be an effective fighting unit, so they won't be included in that health. And then we can see on the right hand side 5 orders. Now the AI in command control is no better or no worse than any other scripted AI. It doesn't improve anything in any way. What it is basically doing, rather than having the computer AI script our objectives, we override that and we can issue local objectives based upon what we see in the field and what we want to do. Now, because I've got Emperor Napoleon selected and he's got the whole of the Army du Nord, we can see that every unit is actually highlighted with the red box around. And we can go and give orders to corps commanders. As we said with Napoleon, he can only issue orders to corps commanders. Now, you see here, we've got first corps selected, That's because they are on the field, we can see them. If we were to come down to another corps, let's say here, first corps cavalry, okay, they're on. Any corps that's located as none means they aren't on the field. He was under control of them on the day, but they weren't actually on the field or on the scenario. Now, if I was to issue an order to Napoleon as such, my whole unit here, the whole of the first corps, is going to do what I tell them to do. There's these 5 things that we can tell them to do. We can order them to attack extreme, and we can set an objective hex for the whole corps in this case to attack. That means they're going to go full in, basically on the charge, all bunch up as much as possible and try to take that hex by any means possible. They're going to bunch up, they're not really going to protect their flanks, so you've got to be very wary of using that. If they bunch up with infantry and you've got density modifiers for optional rules and things, that infantry and cavalry, or infantry particularly, is going to make a very juicy target for your opponent's artillery. So I wouldn't suggest ever going to attack extreme. If we order an issue to attack, that's going to do exactly the same thing. It's going to attack, but it's going to be a lot more slow, orderly, and they're going to protect their flanks. They're going to be wary that they could get attacked on the flanks, so they're going to spread out into an orderly formation and then attack. We've got no order. That doesn't mean necessarily that we don't give them any order. I like to think of it as a stay where you are and defend where you are order. If we were to have these troops down here, which I'll show you in a minute, I'm planning to keep them in situ where they are. They will not go anywhere. They'll stay spread out in their formation, and they will only come into play if they start to get attacked. They will also, if there's a victory location nearby that belongs to your force, they will also potentially nip back to defend that victory point as well. But they won't go on the attack. They won't withdraw unless they start to break and stuff like that. Next one is a defend. That's when we can set an individual hex to be defended. With a regular defense, that means that they'll hold it as best they can in a nice orderly formation as best they can. But once people start to break, or the morale gets too low and fatigue gets too high, they're going to withdraw, depending on casualty numbers. Defend extreme. That means they'll defend any hex until the last possible moment, until the last man standing, basically. So they're the 5 orders that we can actually give our troops. Now, it may help you to come up here and press the division colours, just so you can start to see your chain of command, where your division commanders are, leaders on top, all of that sort of stuff. It just depends on you. Personally, I don't like it, because once we start going through the order dialog box into a subordinates, it's hard potentially to start to see, take these pioneers here, it's quite hard to see that they're actually selected and under the chain of command. So I'm going to go ahead and take division colours off. Now, I'm not going to issue any orders to Napoleon, because that's going to issue orders to the whole corps. But we can break it down, and we can see the first subordinate that comes off is Pyle and his first corps cavalry. Now, if I was to give, as you can see here, we've got the artillery and all his regiments and brigades of cavalry under his command. And if I was to give a command to Pyle, because everything's highlighted here, he's going to take all his cavalry with him and do whatever I say, be it attack or defend. I'm going to skip that and press OK. And then we've got Sol under his command as well. And now we can see that we've got Amiel, and he's the only one highlighted in this case, and with his 2nd Brigade Cavalry. I'm going to come up here and say, right, I want him to attack Wellington's left up here. I'm not going to select one of these hexes on the road. I know there is troops in there, units in there. However, I was to select a hex behind. There we go. And now we can see we've got an objective of hex 27. Down at the bottom right, we've got hex 27. So that's all good. We see this arrow appear. And this means the AI are going to do their best to pathfind their way to that hex and attacking anybody that they encounter on the way. So if I was to now press OK, then we can get to the 1st Brigade Cavalry. We're going to say, right, you need to give a little bit of help to them. We're going to attack maybe the next hex across. So they're also going to do their best to pathfind their way across. I'm going to press OK. Now we get to Dialog. Because he's a core commander, pretty much like Napoleon when we had him selected. What you can see is that everybody is also selected again, bar a few units. Now I could issue this order to my core commander en masse and say, let's say, attack Wellington Centre. That means that everybody, all units that are selected, will then move forward. So I won't really want to be giving core commander instructions, maybe to move mass formations across the field on the larger scenarios. That's the time I would potentially use it. So I'm going to skip Dialog. We've got Jacquinot with his cavalry here, and let's say en masse, I want the whole division to attack Wellington Centre. I'm going to say attack extreme in this case, so don't forget they're all going to bunch up in this case. They're not really going to protect their flanks, and I want you to come up there and attack extreme. Press OK. It's then going to go through your brigade level commanders, but they already have orders from their higher up, so I'm not going to do that. And Bruno with his 1st brigade, they've already got orders from Amiel. And we get to Donzelay, another division, in this case the 2nd division. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of units there highlighted. I'd want to potentially, or ideally, use my brigades as separate entities rather than one big division in this case. So I'm going to skip Donzelay, and then we get to Ollard with his 2nd brigade. They're going to give a little bit of weight to the cavalry attack up here, so I'm going to press attack, and I also want you to join in that attack on Wellington's left. So press OK there. The 1st brigade, they're going to help in the centre, so again I can come to attack, come up into the centre, and then with the cavalry behind them, that's our combined arms tactics working there. Now we got, bad with names, Kuyor. He's in quite a nice defensive position there, so I want him to stay. So I'm actually going to issue the no order, or stay where you are order, and they're going to hopefully stay in that formation and protect our left flank. If I was to press defend instead and click on that hex, that means they would bunch up and become a lot more tighter around that hex. Potentially that's quite useful for protecting victory locations and stuff like that, but in this case I quite like how they're spread out. They're all in line, we've got our artillery deployed, so I'm going to leave them as they are. So I'm going to go to no order. And then we've got Bourgeois, but we've already selected his division commander to stay where you are, so there's no need to issue orders to our subordinates here. Same with Charlet, he's going to stay there. Now because that was the last commander that we could give orders to, now the AI takes over, and they're putting out skirmish lines. They're going to get everybody into column and carry out the orders to the best they can as to what we've actually told them. So I'm not doing anything, my hand is completely off the mouse, this is all the AI, and we'll see how this turn plays out. I can at any moment in time come back up to AI and select manual control again, but I'll show you that next turn because what it does is it takes away the scripts that we've just set. So I'm going to save that and then let Wellington do his turn. Okay, so Wellington did his turn there and it comes back to us. So we're going to get that leader dialog box or order dialog box come back up and we can go through the whole chain of command again. So I did mention that any time we can come and take manual control by coming up to AI and saying we're going to take French manual control. That's going to take away any script that we previously had done in our last turn and revert back to the default scenario AI script that was written into the scenario. So now we can move our troops around as we would in a normal manual scenario. There we go, and if I was to come back to command control, I can then retake over anybody I wanted. So you can intervene with your own script if you like. So let's just say we're going to take over everybody here. Now if I had wanted to only take command of a brigade or a division or even a corps on the larger scenarios, anybody that isn't under my direct control or command control, they will still be subject to the AI script that's written into the scenario. So on your flanks, as you have other corps or other units, they'll still move according to the script that's written into the actual scenario itself. So that's the command control aspect of the game. It's something that I tend not to use. I prefer to be a little bit more hands-on. But thank you very much to the guys who did request this video. I hope it has helped. If there is any other videos that you would like to see me do, always open to requests, so please leave a comment in the comment section or on the Facebook page. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's watched these videos and all the nice comments we're getting from them. And I'm going to leave it at that, so I'm going to sign off and say happy gaming.